Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. In today's episode, I'm joined with Dana, and Dana has also ulcerative colitis, and she's going to be sharing her journey today in today's episode. So, Dana, it's great to have you on today,
Thank you for having me.
and I know it's your first podcast, so it's kind of exciting, maybe nerve-wracking as well, because I remember my first podcast, um, that wasn't on my own, and it's quite nerve-wracking. Um,
Yeah.
um, because you don't know what's going to happen until you're there, really. Um, but yeah, it's great to have you on, so you can share share your story. I guess to start off with, if you wouldn't mind, just like the kind of telling people when maybe you was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis.
So my journey has actually been pretty crazy. I started dealing with stomach pain when I was about 7 years old. I was in elementary school and I was going to the nurse every single day. I was always in pain, and she would take my temperature and tell me I was totally fine and go back to class. So as a kid, I was begging my parents to take me to different doctors, and no doctor could figure out what was going on. And they eventually told my parents that I was fine, everything was in my head, and I just needed to kind of get over it. And I was not diagnosed until I was about 18 years old. So, a very big part of my childhood, my teenage years, was stuck being in pain and dealing with people telling me that I was totally fine. And then I did my very first colonoscopy, and that's when they diagnosed me with ulcerative colitis.
Okay. Yeah. So how old were so how old are you now? So like how long have you had ulcerative colitis?
Well, I am terrible at math. So, I'm 32 now. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't worry working that out. Um, but yeah, I was diagnosed by a kind of like the same way as you, um, for Crohn. So, I can understand like maybe the frustrations when people tell you, um, you have to maybe wait or you're not getting any like information.
Yep. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It's probably the one of except from the pain, like the stomach pain that you mentioned. Because that's what I had too, as one of the symptoms. Apart from that, it's really frustrating when you're not getting like no one's paying attention to what you're saying.
Exactly right. Especially as a kid, I feel like kids are ignored a lot of the times from people that I've spoken to. Nobody seems to take kids seriously when it comes to things like this. So I think raising awareness and having podcasts like this and things are extremely important. So I'm
Yeah,
glad you do a podcast. Raising awareness and having people become, aware of what's going on and what people go through is really important.
yeah, it's really tough. It is really tough. The like speaking about it. Um, because I didn't speak about it as soon as I got diagnosed. I didn't want to speak about it to anyone. Because I was diagnosed at 17, so
Okay.
probably a year younger than you was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's tough because you're at school, right?
Yep. Exactly.
You're at school and you kind of want your school to understand like your situation um and it's tough. It's tough because I I was gone for maybe 2 weeks from school. And at my school, it might have been similar at your school, even though we're from like different places. Um, at my school, at the time, it was like exams and stuff, so um, it was difficult. Which I actually liked in a sense because when I come back, I got to do them in a room on my own, and I prefer that. I don't like people when you're doing these exams hovering. Like you got the person walking around the room, and then you've even got the students try and look.
Yep.
Um, and I don't know. I just don't like it. And then you've got a teacher. When you're trying to concentrate, they come over saying, "Is everything all right?" I'm not now.
Mm.
Got what I was thinking,
Yep.
but yeah, and it's difficult because also they would ask you to leave the room or go in another room, have paracetamol, which is going to be no use. Um, so it's a very difficult time to get diagnosed
Very difficult. Very difficult.
because you're young, aren't you? You want to do sports, you want to keep active, and it's difficult because you can't do that as much as you want because of IBD.
There have been a lot of times when I was a kid and now in my adulthood where I want to be able to go just enjoy a day, have time with my friends, and be able to do what I want to do. And I can't because especially if I'm in a flare up, I don't leave my couch, I don't leave my bed. Um, there have been times where my husband has to literally help me down the stairs and get me to the bathroom because I'm so weak. So it's difficult, I feel like, at any age to be diagnosed, but specifically at 17, 18 years old, you are, and you want to be able to just live your life, and it just doesn't work the way that you want it to.
No, yeah, it's really tough because like not like everyone gets at different ages. Like you're right, it's difficult at any age, but at the young age where you don't know much anyway, at that age, um, and then you get told about something that you've never heard of before, and you
Yeah.
think, well, I certainly thought it was just some bug. I thought it was some bug, gonna get over it, and then you're told it's not, it's, and I wasn't told much when I was diagnosed either at the time. Um, Given a leaflet, and away you go home.
Yeah. Not realizing it's a whole lifelong condition. It just doesn't leave. It's with you forever.
Yeah. So I find it's pretty difficult to talk about that straight away with people. Um, I would only tell people that needed to know. I wouldn't just talk about it randomly. Um,
And you felt this way, but for me personally, I felt really embarrassed. I was really embarrassed when I got diagnosed because it comes with a lot of different symptoms and a lot of things that the people around me were not going to be able to understand. So I was just embarrassed to even talk about it at the time.
yeah, it is difficult because, like you say, that there are certain topics within colitis, Crohn's that are not everyone's gonna get. It might be to do with like going to the toilet and stuff like that.
Yep.
It might be to do with other things. Um, like feeling really fatigued as well. Sort of.
Oh, yeah. There were times where, especially during summer vacation, where I would sleep for 10 or 12 hours and then I would wake up and I was still so tired. And I come from a very supportive family. My sister also has a lot of health issues as well, but nobody seemed to understand. My family wanted me to go out with them and go to the movies and go to dinner and hang out with my friends, and I was just too tired to do things like that.
Yeah, it's really exhausting.
It
Um,
is exhausting.
yeah, it is. It's like these things are really tough when it works as a good thing now. I find that if your friends are still your friends now,
Hmm.
then they are your friends. But if they're not your friends now, then they're not your friends. Um,
Exactly.
because I found that like I've done like people reach out to me and they want me to share my story and stuff like that, and I do it. I do it to like raise awareness and stuff. But then you'll get it backfire, um, and then friends like moan about it and complain. And I was like, what are you moaning about? None of your business. It's just raising awareness, no harm. And then you learn, and then those type of things you learn, and sometimes it can come out of maybe jealousy, perhaps. Um, or I don't know. But they just want the attention, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. It's happened to me. And I know for me, sometimes people have kind of just gotten tired of me being sick. I've lost friends over the years because they want to go out to concerts and they want to go do things that in that moment I'm not capable of doing. And I think sometimes people just get tired. They get tired of hearing you complain. They get tired of hearing you're sick all the time. And I feel like for me, those are not people that I want in my life. I want the support that I can give to them that they can give to me. So I may have lost people over the years, but I've learned to be okay with that. I have my circle now. I have my friends. I have my family. I have my husband. And I'm grateful for that because I didn't always have that level of support. It took a long time to
Yeah.
find.
I I agree. Like I had this friendship group and I'm not friends with any of them now. I'm not friends with any of them. Um which is it's really silly. It was, and I think within maybe the last few years, the one of them wanted to say sorry, and I'm like, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to speak to them because I just want to make new friends, other friendship groups, because I think it's rather I'd rather go forward than go back, and just like I don't want to accept someone for kind of being a follower, like following the crowd just so they're friends, and they don't just want to put their voice out there to point when someone's being wrong. Um, so yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But then we just get people's true colours, don't we? Um, when this stuff happens.
Yep.
But yeah, with fatigue, yeah, that is one of I noticed the difference when I got diagnosed because and you might as well because you was diagnosed at a similar age. We're similar ages, so I noticed the difference between the fatigue before IBD and now, and a massive like. Do you notice it like the difference between how tired you can get now to maybe tired before you was diagnosed?
So I think it's a little difficult to answer that question because I was dealing with so many issues when I was just a little kid. And I feel like I've known the fatigue and the exhaustion my entire life. But I do think it's gotten worse over time, specifically when I am in a flare up. So when I'm in a flare, I could probably sleep for 3 weeks straight and not think anything of it because I can't function the way I can when I'm outside of a flare. But my entire life has just been that feeling of fatigue until I got the diagnosis and understood why. But I've been this way forever.
Yeah, yeah, and it when you get tired, it can be very like little things. So you could be in a flare, um, and like really tired, but also I find when I'm not in it, maybe in a flare, I also get tired as well, but just maybe not so much. But yeah, it's really annoying, isn't it? The fatigue.
Yes, it is, especially if I have plans to go do something, even going to work. I work a full-time job, so I work 40 hours a week. And then if there's overtime, I do make the attempt to do some overtime as well. And there are times where I'm at work for a half an hour and that's it. Like I'm so exhausted that I want to go home and sleep, but money's money, and everything's very expensive right now. So, I really do seem to push myself probably further than I should. Pretty recently, I was in a flare up for about 5 months. I was in the middle of switching medications, and for about 5 months straight, I felt like I could barely function. And dealing with that fatigue and having to work a full-time job is really difficult.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like if it's an active job or even a sitting down job, it's very difficult because like they all have their ways to make you tired.
Yes, exactly right. And to top it all off, I work nights. So I sleep during the day and then I work at night. And the human body is, from what I've been told by all of my doctors, the human body is not meant to be, sleeping during the day and then being awake all night. So I feel like on top of dealing with ulcerative colitis and flares and just everything else that I go through on a daily basis, then you have to add in the factor that my body is on a complete opposite schedule from everybody else around me. So it definitely gets exhausting, and the fatigue plays a big part into me being sick.
Yeah, you're having to go to sleep at times where you're probably not um,
Hmm.
used to it. Um, but yeah, it's one of the things that it's really annoying that it impacts us a lot. Um, but yeah. and especially if you don't sleep properly, that's even worse.
Mhm.
Um, if you struggle with that. Um, but yeah, you mentioned about switching medications. That that is, I think, something that most of us really don't like to change medication, even if it's not we're not doing well, because we always have that fear that the next one's not going to work. I don't mean we're like if we've been okay on this medication, we kind of we want to try and stay on it as long as possible. But so
Mhm.
it's really tough, isn't it, to move to the next one?
It's scary because you don't know how your body's going to react. And I know with me, I deal with a lot of side effects with medications, which I didn't always deal with. So you start a medication, you think that everything's going to be great, and maybe it is for a while, but sometimes those side effects kick in, you don't feel good. And when you feel like you constantly are switching medications and switching and switching, it's overwhelming. It's really overwhelming. And you never really know how your body's going to handle that medication. And again, speaking of a quality of life and being able to go out and play some sports and go out with your friends, you don't know how you're going to feel on the medication. So it's scary to not really know what to expect from it.
Yeah, yeah. It's really tough because I would have uh, all these different tablets, medications, and it's not ideal. But if it's to help us, I think it's good. It's good to have it. I
I'm
think.
on my third biologic now. And, I've done suppositories, I've done enemas, I've done different medications over the years, steroids. I've done a few times, which help in the moment, but you can't do steroids long term. So once I came off of those, I would gain 30 pounds on steroids and then feel worse because, I gained so much weight. And then I don't know how it is where you are, but I'm in the United States and insurance can definitely be a pain sometimes. So on my second biologic, I found out that my insurance was not going to cover it anymore. And I was already having some issues with it. So then we decided to switch me to a different medication. And in the process of switching to the next medication, I ended up getting a flare up. They ended up wanting me to pay thousands of dollars for one infusion, and then I needed three in total, and then to do the injectable at home. And I don't have thousands of dollars to just lay out like that. So my doctor and I went back and forth trying to figure out how I was going to handle it. And thankfully, we got everything worked out, and I'm on the medication now. And right now, I'm not in a flare up, thankfully. But for 5 months straight, all I wanted to do was just get the medication in my system so I could feel better. And unfortunately, it just did not work that way. And even that little bit of stress is what pushed me into a flare up. So it's crazy how fast something can make you so sick.
Yeah, it's that that must be really annoying. Well, when that happens, because like over here we have we have like the NHS, so it's all paid.
Okay.
It's all paid for us. Um, we don't have to worry about that. It's a shame. It's not like that everywhere. Where medication is paid for you. Like you go on the court. Like over here it works where you go on like it's almost like a contract. Um, a certain contract. Like when I was on infusions, for example, um, they they would have enough doses maybe for the year, and then you would review it and then see if you need to stay on it, and if you do, do like another year. It's almost like a subscription. Like if I think of it like of you get a subscription on Netflix. It's almost like that. Um, but yeah, so I've only ever been on one infusion and then it didn't work. I was on it a year, it didn't work on the last one. The 10th infusion it was. Not it wasn't 10 good, it wasn't 10 good luck. Um, and then I take Humira now, so that's injections at home. And I've actually had that injection today. Um, uh, topped off with a blood test as well. Um, which I don't mind. I mean, I don't like them, like the blood tests, but it's fine. Get used to it, don't you?
You know, I would much prefer getting a colonoscopy than getting a blood test.
Yeah.
If that's crazy, that's probably crazy. I don't do well with blood work, needles like that. I can do my injections at home, medication wise, and I'm totally fine. But I start to feel really lightheaded and I've passed out getting blood taken before. So there's something about blood work. You think after all these years I'd be used to it, but like I give you credit for being able to handle it so well because, oh, I hate it so much.
Do you look at them when they do
No,
it?
no. Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, no. I don't know
I
how people do that.
I do now.
Oh,
I look at it when they put it in,
no.
just so it's okay, and then I look straight when the blood's flowing.
Wow. No, I can't do that. I think just seeing the needle go in would make me pass out. I know a lot, like my sister watches, and my sister went to school to be a phlebotomist. She went and took her test, and every time she sees me, she like pokes at my veins with her fingers, and she's like, "Oh, your veins are so bouncy." And I'm like, "You have to stop this because it makes me feel so gross."
I
I don't
can't
know how.
imagine. I can't imagine the people that actually do it though, because like it's tough putting a needle into people.
Yeah. No, I give them a lot of credit because when I go, I typically go before I go to bed. So I typically try to sleep around 8 in the morning. So at like 7:30 in the morning, I'll go get blood taken. And everybody's always so nice in the morning. But there are times where I've gone in the afternoon and they just seem like they're done. Like they've had their fair share of nasty people all day. So I try to go in the morning. Everybody's always nice and happy. And thankfully, they're always willing to let me lay down. So I'm able to lay back, get my blood taken that way. I can't sit. If I sit, I feel like I'm going to pass out. So they work with me, thankfully. But I'd rather drink the prep for a colonoscopy than get blood taken. I know that's crazy, but
Yeah. We all have our kind of like differences, so that's fair that you prefer that. Um, I I wouldn't, but I respect I respect what you said. Um, but so with your colonoscopies, do you sleep for that?
I do. I know some people stay awake. I have zero interest in being awake. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to see it. I don't do well with things like that. So I don't want to know what's going on. And I like the fact that they let me sleep. I look at it as the best sleep of my life. I actually look forward to the naps that I get and then waking up all groggy and tired. I love that feeling. So, do you stay awake?
I think there's an option. There's never been an option to stay awake. Um, no, sorry, to go to sleep. Sorry. Um, it's always you're awake, and that's what happens.
No. So you can feel everything? Do they numb anything or like are you able to feel it?
You feel everything. You can have a
No.
choice. You have a choice to have gas and air
Oh,
or sedation. I've only had it once. I'm probably due another one. I've only had it once when I was diagnosed. And about maybe last year I had a sigmoid oscopy, so that was only the back passage,
okay.
not the throat. Um, the throat's horrible. Um, well, it's horrible. So it's almost like you've got this pipe going down, and you have to gag it. You literally have to gag for it to go down, and they tell you to do it. It's not great. Um, they used to don't do this anymore because you can't eat right when you have the prep for the colonoscopy. You can't eat for a certain amount of time. I don't think you can drink either. Um, so you're really hungry and you're really thirsty after it. They used to give you toast, something
Okay.
to eat after. Don't do that anymore. Times have changed over here. Like I looked forward to the toast. 'Cause I quite like toast. Um, so yeah, I had the enema one. So when you have the sigmoidoscopy, you don't need the prep that you would have for the colonoscopy. So for sigmoidoscopy, you would have an enema, which I don't really like. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of them um, because it's just really uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah.
When they put it up, um, it's like, "Are you ready?" And then I'm
I
not
mean, even if
ready.
you're ready, even if you're not ready, it's going in anyway. So
I said I
it's
weren't
okay.
ready. I wasn't ready for that to happen. But I don't know, I don't know what I prefer. I mean, I hated the dreaded colonoscopy prep when I had it. Um,
Yeah.
I I really didn't like it. I mean, it was horrible. It's probably the worst drink I've had. Um,
Yeah, you would think they would find a way to make it taste better after all these years of having people do colonoscopies. You think they would find a way. I know at least here in the US, taking pills is an option. They have pills now instead of liquid, but I can't swallow pills. That's always been one of my biggest issues. So unfortunately, I can't take the pills. I have to do all of the liquid.
okay.
But
Not that it doesn't really matter for you, I guess, because you're asleep anyway. So like you're not gonna feel like maybe when you wake up you might feel the after effects, but when you're doing it, like I mean, I would love to be asleep, but it's not for that long really. So I guess if I was to be asleep, like I'd stay probably even longer for them to check on you.
that's a big part of it too, is after you are done with the colonoscopy, even the endoscopy, I have to do those as well because I have something called Barrett's esophagus. So they have to go in and check my esophagus from time to time. And you don't have to prep for that, but you do have to not eat for a certain period of time. And then I go under for that as well. But when you come out of it, then you have to go into the recovery room. And then you have nurses that come in and check on you, and they have to make sure you're waking up properly. And, then you need help, at least for me personally, I need help getting dressed after. So my husband has to come in and help me get dressed. And then, you have to sign discharge papers. So you're there for a couple of hours. Colonoscopies don't take that long, but when you get put under, it takes a while to come out of it. So,
Yeah, I think you're just waiting. I think most time it's to wait really. Um, like yeah, you're waiting to go in. I feel like if you have gas in there over here, so say you have gas in areas that you have a pump for like you're basically just breathing gas and
mm,
air, and if you have that, you can go home straight away. Straight after, go home. But if you have sedation, you have to stay. Um, I've had both. So when I had my colonoscopy, I had sedation. But then I had
okay.
a sigmoidoscopy. My first sigmoidoscopy I had gas and air because I wanted to see what it was like. Um, but I played it a bit wrong because I would just keep having it because it's supposed to make you high. Um, and I was keep having it, and then I said to the guy who was next to it, like pumping it, I was like, I just like the feeling because it was a nice feeling, having it. And he was like, he didn't give me any more. Even though I was in pain, I had to sit through it. So I was screaming, and um, I don't think they looked at everything they wanted to do. So I was never having that again. So then when I had my sigmoidoscopy last year, um, I had the sedation, and I did better with the sedation.
Yeah, definitely. If sedation is an option, I'm taking it. They have an anesthesiologist that comes in. You have to sign a form about getting the anesthesiologist and making sure that you know the risks basically of going under and
Oh
knowing
yeah,
that you may come out of it, which for me is fine. I don't want to be aware. Just do what you need to do, wake me up and tell me how it went. And I would much prefer it that way. I haven't done the procedure that you were just talking about. I've never had to go through, and I think that's one of my biggest fears. So I'm hoping I never have to do something like that because I'm terrified by the thought.
yeah. I think the only difference between the two is that a sigmoidoscopy is only the back passage, um, and the colonoscopy is both.
Yeah.
Um, and it takes even quicker time. Um, like yeah, it's not the prettiest of procedures, but you do have a screen you can watch what they're
Yeah.
doing.
No, I don't like I don't want to be aware. I
Yeah,
I know it sounds silly, but I want to be out. Just do what you need to do. One of my former doctors, whenever he does his rectal exams, he only does them when you're under for a colonoscopy. So you don't have to be aware of what he's doing. He just does it when you're out, which I'm grateful for. So,
It was quite funny before because on my last one I had it was quite recent. I think it was like December time. Um, and it was quite funny because I recently the week before I passed my driving test, and then for some reason we come off the conversation. So the lady in there asked me what I've been up to, and I was like, passed last week, and then I passed first time. Um, and none of them in there did. So I was like, yeah, I passed first time. So it was quite funny. You can have some conversation with them, um, like have a laugh, even though it's not a laugh, but you can have a little bit of banter in there. But yeah, it was nice. It's nice to get these over and done with, and then you can kind of relax and go home.
exactly right.
But they do always advise you to not have the sedation, but only because you don't have to wait around. You can just go home. But but like you, I had to sign form in case something goes wrong. Um, First time you sign with them, you're kind of thinking, well, your mind goes, oh, something's gonna happen
Well,
now.
I was anxious. I remember when I had to first sign mine, I mean, I sign them constantly now because I get colonoscopies every couple of years, but the first time I had to sign one for the anesthesiologist, I was anxious. And I was asking them, like, what are the chances that I'm not going to wake up? And they were telling me it is like next to no chance, but there is still a chance. And I feel like not knowing really scared me. But then when I woke up, I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. So now I don't even think anything of it. Now I'm so used to it, I just sign it away and then I go under. So,
It's almost like a flume inside your bowel, kind of, because they have the camera, don't they? And then it goes that way, that way, that way. I mean, as soon as it goes in, it feels really weird. It feels really weird. It's almost like I don't know, it's really bubbly. It feels really bubbly, and yeah. But then it's like at the start and the end. Like to put it in, obviously you're gonna feel something.
yeah.
Um, and then when it in, you can't really feel it, and then
Yeah.
it goes out. You don't actually feel. I don't even remember feeling it coming out. So yeah, um, it's just one of those things we have to do.
Yep. I was just going to say that a lot of people, a lot of people our age have yet to experience this kind of stuff. I have friends that have told me they would never have a colonoscopy. And I'm like, how could you never? And then I realize not everybody is sick. Not everybody has Crohn's or colitis or things like that where they need to actually do things like this. So we just get used to it.
Yeah, it's it's not the best thing to have done. Um, I know people that have had it done for other reasons, not Crohn's or colitis, but there's all sort of reasons you can have it for. But yeah, it's it's something not everyone's gonna experience.
Yeah.
Um, so you would say you're doing quite okay with your colitis now.
Right now I am. I was in a really big flare around Christmas time, and that was difficult. I wanted to go see my family on Christmas, and everything is closed Christmas Day. So my mom lives about an hour away from me, and I really wanted to go see her on Christmas Day, but knowing that everything was closed and I wasn't going to be able to go to a bathroom if I needed one terrified me. So unfortunately, I had to make plans for a different day that was not Christmas Day to see my family just to make sure I had bathroom access just in case. But as of right now, I'm actually doing okay. I'm not bleeding currently because that's one of my biggest symptoms. When I'm in a flare up, I deal with a lot of blood, a lot of mucus, a lot of fatigue, and thankfully I'm not dealing with that right now. So
Yeah.
it's good. I feel like I'm finally in that remission point again, and I think the medication is doing its job. So I'm really grateful for that.
But that's quite good. That's quite good. Um, yeah, that's one of my main symptoms too. Blood going
Oh,
when going to the toilet. Um, and for me, I am in a flare, but not a painful one. Um,
oh,
so more or less a one where levels are higher. Um, and yeah, I with blood, I don't know. For me, it's really weird. Like I can go a time a period of time and get no blood for a long time, but then I'll get it for like like a while. Um, I'd say from like January to maybe now it's like quite a lot, and then at the moment it's stopped. And then I know it's just going to happen again. So at some point I am due an appointment to just to check things over. Um, and yeah, uh, it's really annoying, isn't it, when that happens?
Do you think the Humira is working for you, or do you think you might need another medication?
Well, originally I was on it fortnightly, and they had to change it to weekly because um, I had quite high levels,
Okay.
and I don't like having it weekly. Um, because it just means having an injection every week.
Yeah.
Um, but that's fine. It's at home. I don't have to go to hospital or anything. So yeah, potentially that may be that. I think that was kind of maybe potentially the next step to maybe change. Um, but yeah, that's one of the reasons I had a sigmoidoscopy just to check things over. If I needed to change medications, but everything was okay enough to stay on the Humira.
Okay.
Um, So potentially I might move, but uh, if I'm not getting any pain, I'm like stay. Like
Yeah.
if I'm not having any pain, which I haven't had enormous the pain like I had when I was diagnosed, like the stomach shooting pains,
Yeah.
um, which were horrible. I haven't had them for a long time, and ever since, well, even the medication I had before, I think what stopped them was the steroids. Those pains, and ever since I had the steroid for that brief time at the start, and then before being put on medication. So, as well as Humira, I take vitamin D, uh, B12 tablets, azathioprine, um,
Okay.
and the B12 vitamin D help the fatigue. That's purely what they are for, like some more iron. And then azathioprine, I've been on that ever since I was diagnosed. But yeah, so that may be a reason, but I'd rather stay on it if I have no pain. But if it is a cause of the blood, obviously it won't be good to stay on them.
Yeah. And I know we were just talking about how stressful it is to switch medications. So I understand wanting to stay, especially if you're not dealing with those sharp shooting pains in your stomach. I totally understand just wanting to stay where you are.
Yeah, like I've only, but from biologic wise, I've only ever been on infliximab. It's called. Um,
Okay.
that was an infusion. Um, and I was actually advised to start the Humira before that when I was diagnosed, but I didn't want to because I was recently diagnosed. I didn't know much about Crohn's, and I wanted to be at the hospital, and it worked out. And it did for the 10 times I went, because they were around 6 weeks each time. Um, a lot different to what I am now. Um, and yeah, it didn't work. And then I've been on Humira, um, and it's been up and down with it. Um, but yeah, I don't like switching medications, but I know one day I will. I know one day I will.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that seems to happen when it comes to Crohn's and colitis. I was on Humira myself years ago, and I loved it. I felt good on it. It helped me get out of my flare up. I stayed out of my flare. I was in remission. And then, unfortunately, there were insurance issues that happened. I wasn't able to get it for quite some time. So I ended up flaring again. Then, when I got the medication, it didn't work anymore. So they had to do a blood test and they found out that I built up the antibodies. And because I built up the antibodies, now Humira stopped working altogether, which is what made me switch biologics. So it's frustrating, even in a situation like that, where a medication can be helping you. And then all of a sudden, your body built up the antibodies and now you reject it. So it's frustrating just in general having Crohn's and colitis, but especially when you're doing things to try and help yourself and then it fails. So I can't speak obviously for everybody, but I know for me personally, I get very stressed out very easily when it comes to dealing with stuff like this. And it's almost like I put myself in a flare up because I get so stressed out and upset. And it's hard to remind myself, at the end of the day, I'm okay. And, as I mentioned, I'm grateful I'm not in a flare anymore, but it is really frustrating to feel so different from the people around me. People my age are, at least my friends and, close people around me, they don't deal with stuff like this. They don't wake up every day wondering what kind of day they're going to have. And they just go out and they live their life. They just go out and they go to work and they go to dinner and they have fun.
Yeah.
And I don't get to live my life like that. So, it's nice to talk to somebody that understands that. And I feel sad that you understand what it's like, but it's good to talk to somebody that really understands what kind of toll this takes on a person.
It's it's really tough because you may get friends or families who just they're like potentially they might just be yes, like they're just saying yeah, they understand. Um, just just to say something, I guess, because deeply they won't understand unless they've had what you're going through or they know what you're talking about. Um, because people don't understand, people don't want to know it. Um, but yeah, I took it upon myself when I was at school to try and make these awareness days and like do stuff for Crohn's because I was the only one in my school that had it.
Wow.
No one else had it. So I made it that year at school. I made them have I think it might have been IBD day. Um, everyone come in, dress purple, bring in £1 for Crohn's and Colitis UK.
Mhm.
And that's what we've done. There was a football match. Um, I didn't take part in that because I was too busy doing other things. Um, but yeah, it was quite fun. Fun day. And then later on in life, when I went to college, we done a day. I think this would have been Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week.
Okay.
And what we done is we baked cakes and sold them to raise
Oh,
awareness.
yeah.
So I've done things to. I've done a skydive as well. Um,
Really?
yeah, I've done a skydive. Um,
Oh, too scared to do something like that.
you wouldn't do one.
No, 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 I don't like roller coasters. I don't like anything fast like that. So the thought of just dropping terrifies me.
I was petrified
Would imagine. I mean, would you do it again?
for free.
I have friends that absolutely love it, and I don't know, no bungee jumping, no skydiving. I'm too scared for that.
It's not like a roller coaster though.
But you're dropping that. I don't know. I feel like that's scary. Isn't that scary? Like in the moment as you're falling, is that a scary feeling, or did you feel free? Like how did
If you
it
look
feel?
down, if you look down, don't.
Okay.
So at the start, you'll be dangling outside the plane, and I made it easier for myself by not looking down.
Okay.
I went with family. My dad, my brother went. My brother came last. He was last out the plane. I was first out the plane. Um, and I took the scenic route, so it was quite funny. Family were panicking down at the bottom because you think they know I'm first out, but I was one of the last to drop, so I took the scenic route. So I went really slowly down. But so yeah, I didn't look down. So you jump out, and I think I went upside down a couple of times. Um, and you have to really like listen to the guy. So you have to sometimes he'll want you to. Everyone's different, so he might want you to do this like until you'll get down, and then you can hold on. But
Okay.
you have to come out like this. So it's almost like you're not holding on to anything, um, and then you fall. It's like ready, and then you if you want it filmed, like I did, you've got the camera. Mine was a camera woman. They're on the wing of the plane. They're on the wing of the plane, and it's quite cool. So I'm going down, and then you've got the camerawoman. It's almost like you're in free fall, and the camerawoman is looking at me. And when you're going down, eventually, you can let at some point he'll say something, and you can actually put your arms out like this. I never did that because I was too petrified, and my heart was beating really fast. Um, and the effects of my Crohn's were shattering at the end. It was almost like I was so tired. I was so tired, and I'd done this on my birthday.
Oh my.
Um, it was a birthday thing. It's one of the things I wanted to do. It was for my 21st actually. It was like a special birthday, and
Yeah.
I raised awareness for it. It wasn't for Crohn's or anything like that because I felt like I'd done enough to raise awareness or fundraise for Crohn's and colitis. So I'd done a charity called Rare Diseases, um, and I so basically mine was free more or less. It was just some of the charity money was paid for me anyway. So not everyone done that. So yeah, I was the. It's like when you get to the end, you've got to make sure your legs are on your waist as well.
Okay.
You can't just dangle your legs all the way down, otherwise you'll break them. So your legs have to be really high. It's almost like you're doing a stretch.
Okay.
But
No,
it's a one in a lifetime thing for me. I mean, I wouldn't be desperate to do it again. Um, I'd rather do maybe a bungee jump next, or going on a fast. Um, what they called zip wire. I think it's a zip wire. Yeah.
okay, like one of the zip lines?
Yeah, there's one of the there's in the UK there's one that do the fastest ones, and then you can lay down like you're on a mini car.
Yeah. Okay.
Bungee jump's a bit more scarier, I feel like, than any of them because with a bungee jump you don't have support. So like a skydive, you have support. You have a guy with you. Um, you don't with a bungee jump. It's like you're on that wire thing, and then you're up and down.
I don't
Just
like
hope.
the idea of bouncing after. Once you're down, then you're up and down a little. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not for me. I feel like that's something I personally would not ever accomplish. I think it's a really cool story. I think that's something awesome that you did. And, now you have that story that you get to share with other people. Because that is, for a lot of people, a once in a lifetime thing. And you get to have that. So that's really cool. But I'm a scaredy cat. So for me personally, I don't think I could ever do something like that. But it's always cool to hear stories like that because it looks fun. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm just scared. So,
Because you practice before. You go into a room and you practice like
okay.
what you got to do and stuff. Um,
Okay.
my confidence wasn't very high when I entered because you go to the reception area and I was asking the guy at the reception, what's the best thing about skydive? Never done it before, and his response was surviving, and I was like, that's not helping me, is it?
Oh God. See, that would make me scared. I don't know. At that point, I'd be like, eh.
Well, the thing is, the sky has to be clear enough to do it. So basically, I was getting ready, and then I had to get ready because the sky wasn't ready for us to go. So I was there really early. I was there hours to do it, and then yeah, I went to the hotel. I slept for a few hours. Um, then I went to see people who was there. But yeah, it was very draining. I think maybe it was more draining because maybe I was quite anxious.
Yeah.
And my heart was beating really fast. Um, it's almost like you having a panic attack in the sky. It was almost like how fast my heart's going, and I was like, I think
Scary.
that's why I took the scenic route. Is because I said to him, "Is this normal for my heart to be beating this fast?" Um, and then, yeah,
So, how long is the drop? Like, once you jump out of the plane, how long is it until you reach the ground?
it kind of depends per person. Like for me, it was a while, maybe 10 minutes.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
um, but for some people, it depends what they want to do. So some people might want to come out and do all these do these spins. Um,
Mhm.
sometimes they get the the people to hold like your glider thing.
Okay.
Like the drop from put the parachute out isn't long. is quite fast because you're going really fast out. I mean, really fast. It was pretty cool because the cloud wasn't, the sky wasn't clear, so I was going through clouds.
Wow.
Going
Okay,
through
that's
clouds.
really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, so I was going through clouds. So yeah, it was fun. But they can do it in the dark. Skydives.
I didn't know that. I thought it had to be like clear and sunny. I didn't know you could do that in the dark.
Yeah, people do them in the dark, but I didn't. I couldn't.
Honestly,
What?
I get too scared. I think it's really cool and I love hearing stories about it, but it's not something that I could do. I know
Yeah.
you said it's very different than a roller coaster, but even like the kiddie roller coasters, they have it, carnivals and amusement parks and things like that. I can't even get on one of those. I don't like flying in planes. I don't like the feeling of exhilaration. So even getting on a plane and the takeoff and getting up into the sky, that gives me a panic attack, just that alone. So I can't even imagine just jumping out of the plane. I don't feel like I could do something like that.
It was nerve-wracking going up because you can't hear anyone speak in there because like it's almost like you can just hear like going up like the engine and obviously that windows are open and yeah I couldn't hear what anyone was saying and like you have while you're going up about halfway they'll start putting you like onto your tandem.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that is quite. I try to not think about it going up. Um, but yeah, it's tough. But with a roller coaster, I don't like the cups. You know, like the ones that spin round. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like them. I remember once I went to a theme park when I was at like school. They would normally go on the school trip like once a year and you weren't allowed to take your phones. I took mine. Um, I took mine, and the problem is, I went on this ride, and it went when I had my phone, and I forgot to do it up. So I'm keeping pressure on my phone, but it's on my foot, so I have to hold it on my foot, and then at once we're going upside down, and I catch it, and it nearly fell, and it
Oh
didn't
my
go out.
God. That's scary.
Yeah, so I was paying more attention about my phone than during the ride.
I mean, I don't blame you. I feel like I would be the same way.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I quite like roller coasters. I haven't been on maybe the biggest rides ever, but I have gone on like a few scary ones.
I deal with pretty bad motion sickness. If I'm getting on a plane, I usually have to take something to help me. We love going to Disney, my husband and I. So when we go to Disney, I make sure I take something on the plane. I make sure I take something every morning. But I've always been prone to motion sickness, even on like long car rides and stuff like that. So unfortunately for me, things like that are not even in the realm of possibilities. But sometimes I'll go on YouTube and I'll like search like the big roller coasters and I'll try to like watch, the videos of people on them. But even that sometimes makes me feel sick. So unfortunately, they're not for me. But my father is huge into roller coasters. So I get to hear the craziness and all the wild stories from him. And when I get to go to these parks, I love listening to the people screaming and then they come off and they're so happy. And unfortunately, I'm never going to know what that's like, but it's cool to hear the stories about them.
You just see all these failures, though, don't you? Of the roller coasters, like breaking down and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
That is scary, though.
yeah, yeah. It is scary. And unfortunately, people get hurt and you see some crazy things in the news sometimes. So, um, I like carousels and I like the smaller rides. I like the little kiddie rides. Anything that I can, anything that like a 5-year-old likes to do, that's pretty much me. I want to go on the small rides and that's where I have fun. I don't want to have to worry about all the crazy big coasters or skydiving, things I can't do, but I like hearing about.
Yeah. But the funny thing is about skydiving, as soon as I've had one, he's going out to do another one. And I'm thinking, how can you do another one? Like, they do it all day, these people.
No, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how these instructors go out there and go with different people and I don't know. again, I give them credit, but it's not something that I will ever do.
Like,
Hopefully, we'll never
like,
have to.
so what sort of hobbies do you have? Then like stuff that you do. Like, what do you like? Like hobbies.
So I'm probably the most boring person you're ever going to come across. I really like to sleep. I like my rest. So I know that sounds silly, but like if I'm not working, I like coming home, I'll put on Netflix or I'll put on Hulu. There's different, streaming services or even going old school DVDs. I like being able to just watch something, relax. Um, I like going to the movies with my friends. I'm actually going this Sunday with a couple of people, so I'm going to go see a new movie on Sunday, which I'm very excited about. Um, I really like just low key, calm, quiet. I don't go out and do anything crazy. My husband and I maybe will go to dinner once every couple of weeks on our night off. We'll be able to go out somewhere and sit and kind of enjoy our time together. There's a couple of parks that I like to go to. I like going down by the water and kind of just sitting at night watching the sunset. The particular place that I like, you're allowed to bring dogs. I don't personally have a dog right now, unfortunately, but I like being able to see all the people that bring their dogs down by the water and they take pictures of their dogs. And I really like just relaxation because I don't know, I don't like risking the idea of getting sick. If I do too much and I push myself, I sometimes end up paying consequences for that. So I really try to just enjoy the time that I have in the easiest ways possible. I'll go grocery shopping and I count that as something that I'm grateful that I'm able to do.
Yeah,
So small things. I like listening to music, just watching TV, just relaxing.
yeah. It's always best having little things that you enjoy.
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
yeah, sleep is nice, I'd say. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a nice thing
I
to do.
I don't do it as much anymore, unfortunately, but I used to love to go bowling, which I know might sound silly, but I love bowling. And I was in gymnastics when I was a kid. Unfortunately, I didn't follow through with that, and I wish I did. But I'm considering joining a bowling league for the summer and maybe just going and, little things like that. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, I like bowling. Yeah, I I like to say I'm good at it. Um, Everyone laugh at me though when they see me bowl because I put so much power in it and so much like determination. When I bowl, it's almost like tennis. You know the people that makes those like loud noises when they hit the racket. That's me when I go bowling.
I love that. You have to send me a video of you bowling now one day because I want to watch. I want to see all this determination that
Yeah.
goes into it.
When I next go, I'm sure someone will film me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I do. I haven't done it in a while. I think like the place I went to last didn't have aircon. Um,
Oh,
and I was so hot
yeah, no, I can't
after.
do that. I can't do that.
You
Do you
needed
have
aircon.
hobbies that you like? Are there things that you like to do, especially when you're not flaring?
Yeah, I like going to Comic Cons every few months. Um, I'm quite a big fan of Doctor Who, so that's what majority of the Comic Cons are about, seeing like maybe actors from there. Sometimes on the podcast, it's why I've got like hobbies in there as well. So like Doctor Who's one of them, so I'll get maybe someone from Doctor Who and interview them. Um, so yeah, that's one of my major hobbies. I like films as well. Sometimes go to the cinema, sometimes watch it at home.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, sports. Quite a big football fan. Um, I used to go a lot to the games, but I don't go as much anymore purely because of my Crohn's and like just people.
Yeah.
Just just people. Um, Too many people. It used to be better. My seats had a lot of space, but because the team I support went up to the top league, they had to make more seats. So It's it's very tight where you're sitting down. Um, so yeah, I still watch it anyway at home. Um, that's another one. Um, you could say gaming actually. Yeah, I quite like to game. Um, I quite like the story games. Um, I like the ones where you have multiple choices. Them
Okay.
type of games. Yeah, I play that every so often when I have free time. Um, I'm quite a night owl, so I go to sleep quite late. Especially I don't have to be up in the morning. Um, like I'll be more tired if I do something. Like so, say if I went bowling, all that energy, I'm knackered. I'm knackered, and then like people will be like at me, why am I making all those noises? Well, I normally win making those noises. Um, yeah. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes I do it and then it goes hits the rail. I don't like having the railings down. Um, because it's just they just always go down the side.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You
But
know, now I'm thinking next time I go bowling, I'm gonna do what you do. I'm gonna make all those noises and see if I win. I'm gonna try it out.
yeah, like what I always recommend. People always seem to fail if they you know when people bowl, you see them like drop it
Yes.
and they don't roll. They don't do this. They do this.
Well,
And
you have to follow through. You got to bring the arm all the way up.
yeah. And sometimes it works. I don't know. Sometimes it does work. I've done it. If I'm doing this a lot and I fail, I'll do it. And but yeah, I always, even though I had the railings up, I always try and aim to go straight. Some people might hit the rail, then it automatically does that and it goes.
Yep.
I don't think that's fair. I think like you have to try. The only way I do that is if you've got one pin or maybe
Mhm.
two pins left. I understand that, but if you're doing it from the off, you're most likely going to split, have two of
Mhm.
the sides. Um, but yeah, yeah, people just laugh. People laugh at me when I do it.
Hey, listen, if you're having fun, that's what matters.
Yeah, it's good fun. Like, yeah, I haven't been well. I try to go when not busy.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Do
No,
you deal with any kind of like social anxiety? Because when you were mentioning like the Comic Cons before, I know at least here where I am, they get really busy.
yeah. So what I do is I explain my situation because of the medication I'm on. It dampens my immune system a lot, and I explain I just want to get in and out. I'm not pushing in. Um, I'm just there. So I explain. So if it's a big Comic Con, I'll try and get in first. Um, like yeah, I'll try and do that. Sometimes if it's a little Comic Cons, I don't mind being in a queue. It's fine. I mean, I've had conversations with people like you're pushing in. I'm like I'm not pushing in. I'm just sometimes you have to explain to people that are not aware, like the members of the public. Um, so sometimes that they might react in a bad way. Um, but yeah, you just have to deal with it. Um, but yeah, so I explain that kind of stuff, and then I get my picture, then I go. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but I do find it hard to communicate to some people. Like I have to nag them um, to do it. But yeah, I mean, once I think it was yeah when I had my Crohn's, I went to a football match and I had a panic attack because I was in pain and I wanted to leave because in a football game you have these barriers so you can't go out, same way you could win in, and they didn't really do much. I ended up in this panic room where I had this person. I was right close. I was right close to the players as well, and I was like, tell one of the players to come in or something. But no, didn't happen. But yeah, I had a panic attack. I think I was panicking at the time. I was in a flare and I was panicking that I'm gonna have pain. Um, and that has happened before. And I think that's one of the first times I had a panic attack, and I didn't really understand what it was. And it's almost like a mini heart attack, isn't it? That's kind of
Yeah.
how it feels. Um, and that's why I don't know if I had a panic attack when I was doing my skydive because I said my heart's beating really fast. And I don't know if I was or not. I probably was panicking, but at the same time, I panicked when I was like, falling down. I think that's when my heart was beating the fastest, when I was falling down. But then it stopped, maybe when the parachute came out. Because when the parachute comes out, it's almost like you're not moving at all. That's how it felt. It's almost like
Yeah.
you're still in the air. It's, it's quite weird.
Yeah. Sounds cool though.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's not just Comic Cons. Anything I have to go into, I'll try and explain. And yeah,
And,
yeah. And there's people there. Sometimes I know them. A lot of people that go to Comic Cons also have like are on the spectrum as well, so they'll understand because I have autism as well, so they'll understand what I'm saying. Like in pandemic times, I went and I wore a mask, and I ended up getting this person on my podcast. It was one of the doctors from Doctor Who, um,
oh,
and I kind of explained about what Crohn's was, what IBD is, and why I was wearing a mask and stuff. I'm one to not like shaking hands with people as well, like in general,
yeah.
at games. Uh, yeah, I've learned to just do it. I just do an elbow now. I won't say I won't do it all because people just get weird about it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's stupid. I do. I think it's stupid when I mean I remember because I'm an ambassador for an organisation called the Multi School Council, and what that is it's basically people that have all these different additional needs, and then you try and raise awareness for it. Um, so basically, I went to this meeting or this event, and what happened was this lady wanted to shake my hand, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't shake your hand," and they thought I had a problem with them, but I didn't. Um, and like the person who's in charge of the Might School Council had a chat with them, and they explained why, and it wasn't that I don't want to shake your hand, but the thing is, even if I didn't have Crohn's, I wouldn't want to shake anyone's hand, and the reason behind that is because I don't know where it's been. Like, like
Yeah.
I'm sure it's clean, but I don't know. Um, like I always carry a soap out with me anyway, so I'll use it like on my own hands. Even like if I'm meeting a very famous person, I'll
Mhm.
shake that
Yeah.
hand. Like I met David Tennant. He was in
Okay.
Doctor Who. I shook his hand. I asked him to, because I'm probably not going to shake his hand ever again, and I'll wash it afterwards. I'll do that, but like in the worst case scenario, I helped manage a local football team, and I was one of the managers, so I wore gloves and I would shake people's hands. I just washed the gloves because at football, that's what people do at the end, don't they? They shake their hands. Um, but yeah, I try and make a cool way out of it, just so I think it's more cool, isn't it? Just to do an elbow anyway.
Yeah. And also it's a personal boundary for you, which isn't a bad thing to be able to stand your ground and say, "Hey, listen, I don't want to do that." I know it sounds like the person you were talking about took it personally that you didn't want to shake their hand, but it's just you're right. You don't know where that hand has been. You don't know what they were touching right before you. So I think it's a good boundary to have because you're right. You just never know.
Because I always mention to them, um, like I always mention to people that maybe not aware and they don't have a chronic illness. And I think it should be everyone should be thinking about this. By the way, I don't think it's just because we have Crohn's and colitis. It shouldn't mean a reason why people have got to be not hygienic. So, for example, the button that you press to cross the road, like everyone's touched that, right?
Yep. Okay.
Everyone, and I always carry a wipe to touch it, then I'll bin it. But people won't think of that. It's mental to think people won't think of that. I'll give you another two scenarios. Another one is if you go up escalators, um, everyone puts their arm or hand on it. It's
Yep.
That's the most dirtiest surface ever,
Yes.
and people won't. People, you see the amount of people do it. I mean, I'm petrified of escalators.
Me
Um,
too.
I'm
I
pet.
am.
I have a fear of them. Um, I fear them more than a skydive. Um, and the reason is, well, when I was younger, I tripped on them.
Oh,
When I tripped on them, and then on the same day, I'm sure it's the same day. Um, I caught my finger in a car door, and it was stuck. Um,
oh,
so it weren't a very good day for me. Um,
horrible day.
yeah, it was a horrible day, and I remember pulling it out. I could have opened the door. I should have opened it. I probably made it worse, but but with the escalator thing, right? Everyone moved out the way when I was falling down. Everyone moved out the way so I could fall. They didn't stop so I could stop falling. I was all cuts and bruises everywhere. Um,
Oh,
that to be fair though, I didn't help myself. I had these long jeans on, and I didn't. They were. I was bound to trip. Um, but still, and the reason for tripping was I didn't hold on. I didn't.
mhm.
I don't like to hold on because of how dirty the surface is. Um,
Right.
um, yeah. So if I'm at a shopping market, I don't like them, and you have to go up them. You don't have any choice sometimes. Um, so yeah, I don't like them.
I don't like them either. I don't like how it's so open. I don't know if it's my eyesight or what, but I hate going up them. I don't like going down, but going up when you have to like step on for some reason, just stepping on it, I have a hard time with. But then stepping down, I always feel like I'm gonna tumble. If there's an option for an elevator, I don't like elevators. I'm claustrophobic, but I would rather be inside of an elevator than take an escalator because escalators terrify me. I don't like them.
Yeah. I'd say the thing with an escalator, it's very different because with it, I, I get the difference. I would probably prefer it as well, but my only fear with an escalator is the contact space with the amount of people can go in it. Because sometimes loads of people will go in it, right? And it's really confined spaces, and you don't have your personal space. And I
Mhm.
always love my personal space. Um, and like for me. I don't. If it's like one or two, I'm fine. But if it's like loads, I'm out of the elevator.
Yep. I'm the same exact way, especially if it's a tiny elevator and then you have a ton of people cramming into it. It makes me, again, claustrophobic. I start getting anxious. My heart starts racing. Just like you, I like my personal space, me and like one or two other people, and I'm fine. But everybody else, no, it's too much in such a small space.
You just hear people breathing as well,
Yep.
um, which is
And everybody's touching the buttons. Everybody's touching the buttons outside. Everybody's getting in, and I don't like that. I don't want to be touching something that everybody else has touched all day. And you
yeah.
know that they're not cleaning the buttons either, so kind of freaks me out.
But with the escalators, I actually prefer going up them rather than down them because up I feel it's easier to not
Mhm.
hold on. But when you're going down, that's the way I fell down going down. And I have more fear of going down than up.
I want to be on one floor. Put everything on one big floor so I don't have to go up, I don't have to go down, just make it one big thing so that way I could walk around and then I can leave. I'd
Yeah,
prefer that.
I agree. I agree. It'd be much better, wouldn't it?
Yes.
But sometimes with like over here, like train stations, you'll have a big long escalator because it's going from like floors. Like I've been
Yeah.
on ones that go for up so far, like and those ones it's really confined spaces because everyone's on one step.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't like I don't know. I know it probably sounds silly. It's a silly thing to hate so much, but like if I go to the mall and I have to go up in an escalator, elevator, anything. And then I was at a train station last year and I was not expecting like the biggest escalator in the entire world. I had never been on something like that. And I was standing there and I was starting to have a panic attack. And it felt like it was taking forever to get up. And then once I
Mm.
was up there, I was like, okay, I never want to experience that ever again for the rest of my life. So I'm making it a point to try to not have to go to that train station now because I don't want to have to put myself through that again. I don't like the
Yeah,
way that it felt.
yeah, yeah. It's really annoying, isn't it? Like if there's no one on an escalator, I will maybe walk up a few steps. I won't just stay on the same one.
Mm.
Um, But yeah, but one last scenario of this is when people have a burger at a van or something,
Mhm.
they give them money to the guy or woman that's doing them a burger. It don't have to be a burger, by the way. It could be a hot dog. It could be whatever. Um, but they, because I've been at the football, I've seen this. It's not like I'm looking for it. I'm just the car's parked and the van's there, so you can't not look at it. So you've got them giving the money. So they've got the money, um, and they're making the burger. Then they give you the burger, but then they'll have get the sauce. They'll put it. You'll put the sauce on, and then they'll eat it, and not knowing everyone's going to touch the sauce and stuff. It's fine. I don't moan too much about the burger because they have to touch it. But if they've touched the burger within the money, that's a different thing. You would hope. I don't know what happens there, but with the sauce, you've got the sauce. You
Yep.
can just
And
have.
you don't know how many people, like you said before, how many people have touched it, what they were touching before they were touching that. You just never know. And it's gross to think about. And especially for people like us, we don't want to risk getting sick. But at the same time, I feel like everybody should have that mindset. Everybody should think to themselves, I'm shaking that person's hand, and I don't think enough people really think about stuff like that. I
Yeah,
keep hand sanitizer in my car, my husband's car, and I also keep one on me at all times, just because you never know. If I'm in a situation, I was recently on an escalator and I felt like I was going to fall. So I reached out to grab the handrail, to hold on to it. And the second I touched it without even thinking, I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? And then I felt disgusting. And the second I got down, I went right for the hand sanitizer and I'm sanitizing my hands. And then I went to the bathroom and I was washing my hands. But a lot of people don't really think that way. They just go about their day without even considering things like that. So you just
yeah,
never know.
yeah. It's mental, isn't it? Like no one's learned anything from the pandemic.
Exactly right. At my job, they were playing videos during COVID of like, make sure you wash your hands. And I remember thinking to myself, that's crazy. Like, why do people need to be reminded to wash their hands? But then you see things out in public and you're like, oh, that's why people need reminders. And you definitely think during the pandemic, people would have learned a thing or two, but not everybody has.
Like, it's like with bowling. We talk about bowling. I wear a glove.
Yeah.
I don't use my hand because the amount of people have touched it. And bowling balls are the most dirtiest of things. Because they're not going to clean them, are they? Like you wouldn't
No.
expect them to, really. But yeah, I always take a glove with me, um, and do it.
When I used to actually go bowling often, I had my own bowling shoes. I had my own bowling ball. Excuse me. So, when I used to have my own bowling ball, I wasn't as concerned, but I don't bowl anymore. So now when I do, I'm always like, my fingers are going in this ball that who knows who was touching this last. And then if you're touching the scoreboard, you're putting names in there. You just don't know who was doing what before you. So as soon as I'm done, I want to go to the bathroom and I want to wash my hands. And especially now more than ever before I eat, I'm always washing my hands because you never know. So I've definitely, since the pandemic, have become a little bit more aware than I think I was before.
100%. Yeah, it's a bit. I think that the more people know and more people understand about
Mhm.
just hygiene, isn't it? The better. Um, but yeah, well, thank you, Dana, for coming on. I'm glad you got to share your story, and we talked about a few other things that kind of go 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 in with it. But yeah, it's been nice chatting.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and to anyone listening, watching, we hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and we will see you in the next one.